Hey, how's it going? Mordechai here today, giving you a quick review on the Ultra Mont Blanc BOA, my most recent running shoe. I've had a good time testing this one out. I was super excited when the Mont Blanc came out, as a fan of Ultra, because this looked like exactly what I look for, which is, as a marathon runner, ultra marathon runner. A shoe that can handle long distances, but not a super thick max stack shoe like, let's say, the Olympus. That's just like super cushioned. This has that cushion, but what it was marketed as, the Mont Blanc, which really caught my attention, was that it's supposed to be a faster trail shoe where you can run fast but still get in the long miles, kilometers. So it basically had everything that I was looking for, and it looked really cool. So I was about to get the original Mont Blanc, which came out earlier this year, but I was reading reviews. I looked at a lot of reviews on it before purchasing because it was just expensive. I think it was about $180, the original Mont Blanc, more than I ever spent on a running shoe. And I just felt like before I make that purchase, I need to really see what I'm getting into, even though I love what it stands for, and I like Ultra in general with the comfort and the zero drop principle. But I was just hearing too much negative reviews about, the lockdown issue, about just not holding the foot in place properly. And that's a big issue for me. I had a problem with another pair of Ultras, the Escalante, with the lockdown, that it just bothered me. And when you don't, with a shoe that doesn't lock you down well, especially a trail running shoe, it's just not fun. It's not fun. Lockdown is very, very important. You want your foot to feel secure in the shoe. Um, and that's kind of one thing I love about barefoot type running, is that those barefoot shoes kind of just, they feel like it's part of your foot. There's not really, the lockdown issues. It's just like your foot. So anyway, I just didn't. It just was just too much negative press about the lockdown issues. So I decided to wait, and I heard about the Mont Blanc Ultra BOA that was going to come out later. I said, okay, maybe I'll wait for that. It came out. I was hearing a bit better reviews about the lockdown issues, so I ended up getting it, which turned out to be even more expensive than the original Mont Blanc. So definitely by far the most expensive running shoe ever purchased. 200. I got it a little bit on sale, but the price is, the market price is $210. I paid for myself. So expensive shoe. So probably good to watch some reviews, research it, maybe try them on before purchasing. But let's really jump into it. I have a lot to say about this shoe. First of all, I love the way it looks. I think it looks so cool. It's like a really finely crafted, like, work of art, this shoe. So that's incredible. Um, it's a white trail running shoe. So I mean, even though these actually recently, I just got off the trails with them, but I recently did put them in the washing machine, and they're still like, they get dirty. A white trail running shoe is a maybe a questionable idea, in terms of like keeping them looking clean, but they look awesome. I actually, some people like the colors, the original Mont Blanc. I actually really didn't like the look of the original Mont Blanc, the kind of salmon, more like this color, and then also blue. It wasn't my look. So I like the look of these a lot better. I think it's a good looking shoe. Um, so okay, grip. Ultra went with, Vibram on these shoes, which they usually don't do. They usually have their own outer sole, but Vibram's one of the best in the business. They make soles for many top running shoes, and these are no different. They're great grip, excellent, no complaints with the grip at all. Great pattern, good solid lugs that are deep, but you can definitely still run on the roads with them, and it's not like so deep that they're only for the trails. You can get a little bit of road mileage on them. You've got this, you've got the upper here, which is very thin material. I remember people were kind of suspicious of this with the original Mont Blanc. I actually really like how thin it is because it's breathable. And I have kind of sensitive toenails, I've discovered. So when I'm running these long miles and my toes are kind of hitting a really hard, solid, toe plate here, it starts to hurt my toenails. And it's a little bit better for my situation specifically. So I like that thinness of it. Um, and it's got, yeah, so this is kind of nice, holds the heel in. It's got some nice heel padding in there too. Um, and let's see. So it's got more of that max stack feel. You know, it is a bit thicker, which was an adjustment for me. I'm more of a minimalist type. I run in barefoot shoes. I like more minimal, even ultra shoes, like the Superior. I love the Superior. But then I found as I was getting into longer, ultra marathon type distances, I wanted a little more padding. My knees were starting to hurt a little bit just with that, you know, minimal padding. So I got more to the Lone Peak, great shoe. And this is even more padded than the Lone Peak. I recently ran a trail marathon on this, 42K, about 1,000 meters of elevation. It was a pretty grueling course, but it handled well. My legs felt very good after. I was sore for very little after the run, which is pretty awesome considering how steep it was and the elevation and everything. But so I think they're good for kind of making your legs feel good. I'm still adjusting the amount of cushion, even though they're supposed to be a bit of a faster shoe, and that's what drew me to them. Then, like let's say the Olympus or some of these Hoka shoes that are very max padded, they still feel sometimes I don't feel like I'm getting that total energy return. So it has a little more cushion than I'm kind of used to than I would like, but maybe I need to kind of transition more into that as I run longer distances and I start to feel knee pains here and there. So so it's cushion, and people that like max cushion shoes will like this. And I think for a max cushion shoe, I never bought the Olympus, but I tried it on, and I just could tell right away. It's like, whoa, this is just too spongy for me. This I think will be a little bit less, so it's more of a speed shoe, but it's still got more cushion than like let's say the Superior or the Ultra Lone Peak. So let's see, comfort wise, they're very, very comfortable actually. It's like putting on a sock. It's a very thin, comfortable upper, super comfortable. I didn't think I got any blisters in this last marathon in them, which is pretty rare for me. Um, and they have good support. The lockdown. Okay, so let's get into the whole BOA system because that's really the exciting thing about this shoe. You have adjusters here. You very easily push and crank. Push it down and crank. One thing I love about it, I love just being able to put on running shoes quickly. I have one pair of running shoes that just takes me so long to put on. It's just so frustrating. I almost never run in them, unfortunately because of that. But even though they're a good shoe, but these you slip them on so quickly, you lock them down quickly, and it's like you're good to go. And you can also just pop it off. You just pop it, and it's like loosens, and you're good to go. Also. So it's a really cool system. I love having this instead of laces. Laces kind of get annoying. I've tried different running lace styles of tying, and I know that can change things around. But I actually prefer the system to laces for sure. Um, the only thing I found is that even when I crank it tight, I have to every so often stop and kind of retighten. I thought my foot would swell and I have to like loosen it as I go, but I kind of feel like as I go, I want a little bit more, like to crank it a little bit more. So, because I feel like when you start running, you don't want this shoe super tight on your foot, but like, so that's what I found is kind of a little bit annoying is that you have to kind of readjust it a little more than you would a typical shoe. But it's quick to readjust. It's not like tying a shoelace. It's not annoying like that. It's just a quick, crank or two. But I've found that every few kilometers I do need to readjust. So if you're a serious like racer and just, don't want to stop and do that, could be an issue. But I feel like the lockdown is good, but not excellent, even with this BOA system. So I can imagine the original Mont Blanc would have been just a disaster for me because these just still sometimes I find myself cranking it a little bit more and a little bit more. So I won't give it 100% with the lockdown, but I think it's manageable. It's for sure manageable. Um, and let's see what else. Um, they the last thing, I guess I'll sum it up now. I think I'm pretty much done here, but I'll just say that I really do like the shoe. I think it's a crazy price. That's what everyone's been saying about it. It's just so much more expensive than your typical running shoe. I mean, nowadays mostly the best running shoes, you splurge on a pair $150, but when it jumps up past 200, I don't know if it's offering you that much more than other running shoes. I mean, it's presenting really nicely. It's like it's a beautiful shoe, it really is. The BOA system is cool. I don't think it's perfect yet, but I think it's a work in progress that is has potential and it's pretty good. Um, I think for me the biggest drawback is it is a little bit of kind of a bulky shoe. It's not super light. Um, I think they really made it lighter by making such a minimal upper, but just there's a lot of going on here in the bottom. But that is helpful. It's geared for a serious kind of ultra runner, ultra marathon runner shoe. So I think for ultra runners, it could be if you're running ultra marathons, it could be a pretty good choice for you. I just think for me personally, it's like slightly a little bit too spongy, a little too much cushioning than I would like. So I don't feel 100% fast in them as they were advertised, which I was really excited about. Um, but I can work with it. I got to find time and happy with my performance in this trail marathon. Um, but I would say just before making the price the jump at that price and buying them, maybe try them on, see if it's for you because it's kind of a little bit different than other ultra shoes. Um, and I'd say probably more closer to like an Olympus than Superior or Lone Peak. But it's a very cool shoe, a very, very cool shoe. And I like what Ultra's doing, trying different things. Wish the price was down a bit more. I think that would just, I don't want now all the running shoes to start bumping up all the prices because Ultra's able to do it with the Mont Blanc. But there are some cool materials in there that are unique that I haven't seen before. So maybe they need to charge a little bit more, also considering the BOA system, everything. So overall, really like the shoe. They're fun, good for serious runners. I didn't run super aggressive terrain in them yet. Like maybe with the thin sole, like the upper, you could kick a rock and that could hurt a bit because there is not a lot of protection here. Um, but you can really hike in these. You can run comfortably in them. Your legs feel good after. And yeah, so if you're into more of the highly cushioned type of shoe, you might want to give these a try. So thanks a lot for checking out the review and the Mont Blanc Ultras Mont Blanc BOA.